All right, question number 2 or 6-2. The following diagrams are not drawn to scale. For each pair, list what you know from the diagrams and then decide whether triangles are congruent. If they are, write a congruency statement. If not enough information to determine the congruency, then write cannot be determined. Okay, so I have obviously a yellow post-it note in front of me, and I just wanted to talk about something first. And we've talked about it before when we were talking about triangular similarity, and it's the reflexive property. This is going to be super important when you're working this entire chapter. So if we've got triangle BCD and ACE, we know that angle C is congruent to angle C. How do we know angle C is congruent to angle C? Well, because it's the same exact angle. Obviously, if this angle is 45 degrees, so the triangle BCD here, if this angle is 45, then in ACE, it's still going to be 45 because it's still going to be the same angle. So let's use that information to help us with these questions. So question A, in the diagram, it says AC is a straight segment. We know that angle D right here is a right angle, which means this is also a right angle. And we know that angle ABD is congruent to DBC. So do we know that this is congruent? Remember, if we do, we got to know two things. We need to know that the triangles are similar, and we need to know that their side proportions are 1. So the slope ratio between the sides is 1. So for this one, we do know that it is congruent. So the first thing we need to do is decide how do we know it's similar. We'll think about our 3 ways: angle, angle, side, 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 or side, angle, side. Here it's going to be angle, angle. We know that angle ADB is congruent to angle CDB because they are both a right angle. So if they're 90 and 90, then they must be congruent. We also know angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. And we know this because it's given to us, right? We know that those 2 angles are congruent. So we know that the triangles are similar by AA similarity. So triangle ADB is similar to triangle what? Don't forget to match up the sides. So ADB is going to match up with CDB. Perfect. So we know that the 2 triangles are similar. Now we need to prove that the slope ratios of the side are 1. Okay, and let's just make up a number here. Let's say DB is 2. Okay. So in triangle ADB, if that's 2, let's match up the corresponding sides. I'll do it with colors again. So AD is going to be matched up with what side? DC. Perfect. Side AB is going to be matched up with what side? BC. Because those are the hypotenuses. And side BD is going to be matched up with, well, side BD, right? That's the side of both triangles. So if in triangle ADB, DB is 2, what does DB have to be in triangle CDB? Well, it's the same side. So it's going to be 2 as well. So my side ratio is going to be 2 over 2. Remember, big over small, 2 over 2, which is going to equal 1. So because those are congruent, we know that BD is congruent to BD. Because BD is congruent to BD, we know that the slope ratio has to be 1 and that these triangles have to be congruent. And we know BD is congruent to BD because of that reflexive property I talked about on the post-it note. So my last statement now is going to be, instead of them being similar, we're going to say they're congruent. So ADB, triangle ADB is congruent to triangle CDB. And once again, we know that because of triangle similarity and our slope ratio equaling 1. All right, next problem, letter B here. Let's match up corresponding sides. Well, I know that AC and BD are congruent, so those must be corresponding. So AC and BD. What side is BC corresponding with? Well, BC is congruent to itself through the reflexive property, which leaves one side left. That leaves DC and BA. So DC must be similar to BA. All right, once again, we need to prove that the sides are similar, the triangles are similar, and then we need to prove that the slope ratio is 1. So first we know that BD is congruent to AC. And we know this because it is given to us. We've got the little lines, the 2 dash marks on the lines that show they're congruent. We know angle DBC is congruent to ACB. We know this angle is congruent because of the markings. It's given. And then we know side BC has to be congruent to side BC. And remember, this is our reflexive property that we talked about. If it's the same thing, it has to be the same distance or the same length. So by this, we know we have a side, we have an angle, and we have side. So we have side, angle, side similarity. Now we just got to prove that our slope ratios of our sides are equal to 1. Just like in the last problem, if the sides are equal, then you're going to divide and you're going to get 1. So are our sides, are they equal to each other? Yes, they are. So we know that my slope ratio is going to be 1. And so that we know that triangle DBC is congruent to triangle. So DBC is orange, yellow, blue. So how would I name this triangle ABC so that I go orange, yellow, blue? Yeah, orange, yellow, blue. So ACB. All right, go ahead and go to the next video and we'll finish question number 2 on the backside.